What's going on, car guys and car gals? We're having fun at the ActivEngage booth at NADA 2025. We are live inside of New Orleans, everybody, and we are having some fun at SNOLA, the one event that you need to be at. And if you didn't make it, it's okay. We're going to forgive Focus Fly. We're going to keep talking from there. But we're so thankful to be hanging out here. Fred, how much fun have we been having so far?
I've been having a blast. This has been a unique event. I've never been to an event where everyone thought it was going to fall apart, and it's becoming bigger than we thought it was going to be. There's people walking around now warming up this convention hall. It was freezing this morning. Now it's warm. We're all getting grooved and just really getting into that motion of growth, right? Motion of learning something new, going booth to booth, hoping to find that solution. And we found one. And we're at the right booth to give that solution out, right?
Yes, and we're so excited to be hanging out here with you, Carol. Carol, there's so much that we want to say thank you for, just in the way that you've shown love to us, and for the way that you've been brewing solutions for the industry so far. So we do say thank you. We're going to give you a little bit of love for that. We appreciate you. But there's so much that you've been brewing for a while for the industry. And some people may not know, some people inside of our audience, some people in your new audience, some people that are listening right now that need to know why it is that they need to engage with a company like yours. Tell us a little bit about ActivEngage and the solution that you're brewing for the industry.
Thank you. Multiple solutions we're brewing here, and it's all about engagement and relationship and trust. And it's the trust that we're able to build with the dealers, consumers, their shoppers, sales and service customers. It's not just about gathering data and leads, which certainly we do. That happens, but that happens because of the course of the conversation with humans, with empathy, with listening and acknowledging what that person is saying. And the channels in which we can do that continue to evolve and multiply. Obviously, we have messaging, right, on dealer sites, marketplaces like Auto Trader and Cars and Car Soup and on and on and on. But we also have a way for your consumers when they call in, if they get a busy or they just choose to opt that into a text, they can do that. So we're giving the customers a choice to communicate in the way they want. They control their experience. And that's really what that automotive consumer is looking for, sales or service. Let me control my journey, my experience with you. And that is the key. We are the key that can unlock that, whether it's flip to text, where a phone call that has kind of stalled out immediately can become a text, or it's Service Connect, where we are going to set that service appointment in the DMS for the consumer. The dealer's team doesn't have to make a call back and try to get a hold of somebody. It's done. It's revenue sitting there. And yes, there are online tools available, but what we know is when you have a human-to-human connection, your show rate goes up 15%, and your repair order goes up $30 a repair order.
Whoa.
So, I'm sorry, it's $60. $60
Even
a
better.
repair order, yeah. Because we ask about declined services. We're thinking about that consumer, not can I get a lead? You know, our folks are not measured on handled time in a conversation. It could be a 10-minute conversation or a 25-minute conversation. It's whatever that conversation needs to be.
I love that.
For that consumer. Again, they have control of their journey. And once you've established that relationship and you've let the consumer know they can control that, now what an opportunity for your team. You're going to have a consumer that's going to pick up the phone when you call, respond to an email if you place it, and bring their checkbooks. Everybody remember what a checkbook is?
I do.
When they come in, so yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you're allowing the consumer to control the narrative and how they are spoke to, communicated by. That's massive. I know as a consumer myself, I'm very particular. Certain ways I don't like to speak. So if it's not there, I usually just hang up and forget about it. And usually the problem just gets worse, which makes me more frustrated. So instead, if I can say, hey, just text me back or call me back or message me, email, or whatever which way I want to communicate, and I get to pick that, that's awesome. That lets me know that the business that I'm dealing with really thinks about me and how I want to be treated. More importantly, how I want my future engagements to be. And that's what really makes ActivEngage pretty hot right now. I love that.
The thing that you said there, making sure that we recognize it's a unique experience. Every conversation, every time that they're there at the lot, but anytime they're interacting with us in any way, it's at their pace.
Yeah.
We teach countless salespeople around the country, but one thing that we often notice is that sometimes there's something inside of the store. We create this metric that says every phone call that's connecting to a customer should be 3 minutes. If it's 3 minutes, now you know it's a good conversation. Where I know having a conversation with me isn't going to be good for 3. If you give me the opportunity to talk, I'm going to dump it out. And that's what a good salesperson should do, is ask the question that gets the customer to say as much as they want until they feel as educated as possible. And being able to flow with them is critical, because it's something they want the power in. And most customers are going to do everything humanly possible to dodge a human, right? To get away from actually dealing with the person. But it is that much more critical that when we do pass the baton, it is in sequence, it is in flow, it is seamless. And you all have been making some really seamless things happen inside of the industry to be able to make it connect. But I know there's a lot brewing with you all. And we're always talking about the freshest brew. And we want to know what's kind of sitting in the pot. What's some of the freshness that's being brewed out here?
So the freshest brew would be Reignite. Reignite is a product that we're launching to reignite opportunities dealers might have in their system. So it could be sales or service, or maybe it's just reigniting the excitement of a buyer 6 months after they bought to get them into that service drive, right? So it's SMS campaigns. And when that opportunity responds, again, now they're in a human-to-human interaction via text with our team, where we're going to build on that relationship, allow them to structure what it is they're looking for, and come back into the dealer. So it's not just another thing for the sales team to have to follow up on. We're looking to make the sales team even more effective with a fewer number of opportunities, because everyone has plenty to do. So if we've worked on the front end to get to know this consumer, and look, today the demographics go from baby boomer to Gen Z. So every single one of those brews wants something different.
Love it.
You know, you mentioned education. That's what millennials are looking for. That is the way they've been brought up. They go online to get information. Can they be persuaded? Absolutely. They grew up with 24-hour cable news where you hear one thing this day and another thing the next day. And so giving them information doesn't mean you lost your shot.
No.
It means they have this and you can follow up with additional information. Gen Z is a little different. They want that interaction to happen a little differently in the back and forth. Gen X, we all know, we don't care. Just kidding.
Get it done.
We don't.
Give me the info.
Get it done.
Right.
That's it, right? So understanding that, our team is so skilled. We've been in this business over 17 years. My training and quality team has 75 years combined experience focused on that interaction that happens between auto consumer on behalf of a dealer. So every little phrase, every little trend in the market, they're attuned to that. So this new product, this Reignite product, all these opportunities we had 2020, 21, 22, right? Maybe we satisfied them. It's time to get them back in. Maybe we didn't, because we didn't have the inventory. 2025, you're going to have inventory.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to reignite what you already have, and let's squeeze that revenue and At the same time, give an exemplary customer experience. So your CSI goes up, your market share increases. It's everything, but you got to focus on it from a consumer experience. And I think that's really the big trend in 2020-25 is how do you capitalize on it?
I love it.
I
I love it.
I think there's a lot to be said. You said a whole lot there, a lot to unpack. We can go down a few awesome trails with it and definitely make some good coffee correlations, right? Because who wants to waste a cup of coffee?
Nobody.
Anybody out there let their coffee go cold?
Sometimes.
And then you don't want to go make a whole fresh cup, right?
Nope.
Be like, don't you waste that coffee. I know in my house, I'm not allowed to waste a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
All right? You better go heat that back up. You better go get that reignited. You better go get that reheated. Better put some more heat to it. Otherwise, we're going to waste what good we've already brewed. How much does a dealer spend to get the attention of a customer?
Right.
How much does a dealer invest to have the customer taken care of while they're present? And then how much do we blow and completely waste when we don't re-engage with them, when we don't call them back, when we don't talk to them about what's relevant to them? And here's the part that's honest for salespeople, right? A salesperson is always looking for the lowest hanging fruit. It's all good. We understand that's where the juice is made, right? We got to get the low hanging fruit. We got to get the juice going, get it. But the time that it takes to cultivate a conversation into actual car deal is the part where sometimes we can lose our stick-to-itiveness, if you will, right? And because of that, a salesperson won't call the customer because they don't have the right information. And they're not using the technology, whereas now you're finding a way to let the technology do some of that heavy lifting that for the most part, the salesperson is going to forget to re-engage or reignite that without getting that. That's a solution that we've needed. We've needed for a long time because a lot of times customers are just ignored and then they get to that cup of coffee and they're like, how long ago did I brew this? How long has this been sitting out? This might have gone sour now because that is the thing with our customers. They can go sour quick, right? If somebody engages with them the way that they want to quick enough, we lost it. We lost not just the lead, but the opportunity to keep cultivating that conversation. And that's been something we've been needing in this industry, right?
Oh, man, big time. What I love most, though, and just a side note, is the human interaction that you try to hurry up and get to.
Yes.
I shouldn't say hurry up, but try to get there at a pace that's right when they need someone to call them or text them, a human, somebody that can convince them, hey, I know that you say this, but this, right? I love that you're talking about that. Salespeople, low-hanging fruit. What you're creating is low-hanging fruit that's not small, it's big, right? Big low-hanging fruit that they can take and it's ready to go. It's ripe, it's delicious, it's sweet already. You don't have to wait for it to be ready. I love that. That's what being able to use ActivEngage to reignite these leads. These leads, these people, they're in your database already. These are people that have been contacted, people who know your store already. Talk to your salesperson. They just haven't been sold yet. They haven't been convinced yet. It is time to reignite that in conversation to make sure that they get there. So I love what you're talking about here. I love that reigniting conversations with people by using the technology out there to be able to bring it right to the salesperson. Hey, call them. Hey, text them. That's big.
Yeah. So in combination with a product we've always had called ActivEngage, when an appointment like that is set, it can be texted to whomever the dealer chooses in the store. General manager, sales manager, internet team. So imagine you're getting a text that there's an appointment in 3 hours with a lead that came in 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. How fantastic is that? Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is to drive revenue for our clients. So.
Yeah, we believe and we know that everybody that leaves your store, they're going to buy a car. 100%. Everybody that you've talked to about buying a car, they're going to buy a car. It isn't a question of, are they going to buy? Yes, they're going to buy. The question is, are they going to buy from you, and are your people talking to them with pertinent information to make sure that they're talking to them at the right time? Or if the conversation kind of dissipated, we need to reignite those conversations with the right information. So I love it, again.
So many times, we're trying to find a way to just get somebody new. instead of let's take care of who we got, right?
That's it.
I love the song, love the one you're with, right? We've got to love the one we're with. We got to love those that have already committed to us. Now, you all have been seeing so many different things brewing. Now, the industry has been having some cool challenges. Of course, everybody wants as many leads as they want, as they can possibly have, and everybody's trying to find a way to get their sales team augmented to a place where they can interact with all this AI, or we just call it great technology. But with that, what have you been seeing has been some of the most desired by the dealer when it comes to making sure that we interact? Is it time? Is it relevance of message? Because that's something just because you're calling a person and you're talking to them about what doesn't matter, doesn't make that an effective conversation. What have you seen as being some of the most pertinent information that the dealer is looking for that actually perks them up, gets
For
them
the,
up? Oh,
for
I
the
want to hear it.
shoppers?
Yes.
90% of the time, they're going to come in asking about availability or price. And certainly we will address that. But what we do is open that conversation to discover the undiscovered needs. So it could be someone who comes in asking about a special, but saying, oh, I can't buy for 4 months because my lease runs out then. But my wife is pregnant, we need a bigger vehicle, so forth. So we open the conversation to learn all of these facts. And then we open the door through the use of wiggle room, which I'm sure we're all familiar with, to go ahead and get that person to agree, just come on in and drive the larger vehicle, see how it feels, and let us see what we can do with that lease. Because as we know, there's a lot of things that can be done. So
Yes. And that makes us think of something that's very important. And we encourage all you sales professionals, sales teams, and people that have information of a human that's trying to drive an automobile. There are 3 things that we believe you got to know.
3 things.
Okay? 1, what do they want and what do they prefer, right? What kind of vehicle does the customer want? What do they prefer? Have that inside of your system. Have all of your technology knowing that, communicating with them, that specific information about what they want and what they prefer. But the second thing is time. When do they want to do it? When do they want to buy a car? And not to ignore them if they say it's next year. If they say it's when I got to pay my house off, or when I got to wait till my mortgage goes through, right? We've heard that once or twice, right? All of these different questions that come up. If a salesperson can simply know what do they want and what do they prefer, when do they want to do it, and then the last part is, what's the holdup? What has been stopping you up until now from owning, from driving, from acquiring what it is that you want to drive? If we can have that information in there, case closed. We can take care of that customer, right?
Right, absolutely. It's interesting, we have Retail Sync. Retail Sync is our product that integrates with multiple different digital retailing tools. So the consumer's going through the DR tool and they have a question. The top 2 questions that we see from coming in from that, 1, why is my trade so low? And 2, why is my interest rate so high? So we have trained our team to handle those types of questions, but not put the dealer in a bad position. Because the last thing, we all came from the dealership. We know what it's like to be standing on that floor and have a consumer 25 years ago come in with the consumer reports and go, I just bought a car, you didn't tell me this. So we're very careful about what our folks say in a written conversation. And yet those are the questions that consumers want to, that's what smacks them, the trade-in or the interest rate. And it's great that they can connect. Just let me connect. Let me get this out. Let me throw this against the wall and see what happens. And with our team, we can absorb that. We can absorb that initial shock, kind of neutralize it, and help them to continue on through the process. And now from a dealership perspective, you're getting that transcript. Now you know. Now you know. You can be prepared.
And knowing is
half the battle.
That's right. Thank you, G.I. Joe, for that. But Fred, there's so much that we've been able to see, there's so much that we've been able to hear, and there's so much that is literally brewing right now. We're thankful that people like you are coming together to make sure that we do bring others together. Now, you have like countless integrations, right? People that you service to. What are some of the newer integrations that you guys recently launched or made connections with?
Oh gosh, well, we're the exclusive messaging partner with Cox.
Wow.
So of course we're on Auto Trader, Kelley Blue Book, through all of their properties where there's messaging. That is
The little
us.
guys, huh?
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
Who are they?
That's pretty awesome. And that's not a name drop. That's truth.
Yeah.
That's to show you that what they're doing is being taken pretty seriously. And if you're not taking something like this seriously inside your stores, you're missing something. You're missing opportunities. You're missing car deals. You're missing a great culture of fun at the store, so your salespeople can constantly be active, doing things and having fun with customers. Because beyond selling a car, it's about having fun. And really, the most fun you can have is selling cars, right?
That's right. There's so much of the conversation that I think inside of our interaction with the customer turns into futility. We're just talking to talk, or we're talking because the boss told us to, or we're talking because we got to hit a number for the day, right? There's countless metrics that a salesperson has to hit in the different stores across the nation. There's different things that they end up having to do, but doing the things that actually matter, doing the things that keep that lead active, that keep that person engaged, that keep you moving your business in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it's not so much just about the revenue. We do believe that we put relationships over revenue. It's about having that relevant conversation. And you all keep that going with the big boxes, with the smaller boxes, right? With the big cups of brew or the little cups of brew. Thank you for brewing with Fred and Lou. We're so excited to be able to have this conversation with you all. The thing that we want to know most right now here, because we are inside, you said smacks, right? Information that smacks. Well, let's talk about food that smacks, okay? Around here, we're around some good, yummy stuff. And I got to know, did you bring a king cake?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not. Fred cannot have cake.
He can't have cake, but I'm eating for two.
Yeah,
I'm eating for two
okay.
like a pregnant woman.
We got to find one for tomorrow. Where's
We got to get
Chelsea?
it.
We'll
We got to get
one.
the cake.
There you
so
go.
tell us a little bit about this king cake.
About the king
Yeah,
cake?
tell us a little bit about that. For those that don't know, the tradition down here, some of you can't hear the music that's floating around back and forth, but it's starting to sound more and more like New
Mardi
Orleans.
Gras.
But tell them about that cake.
So the tradition, as I understand it, is there's a little baby in the cake. Everyone shares in the cake, and if you're the one that gets the baby, you're the one that has to buy the cake next year.
You're welcome.
That is right. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't
it's
eat the
fun.
baby.
Don't eat the baby.
Eat the baby.
Yeah, but it's fun. And they're good cakes. And, you know, it's unique to this area, and it's a tradition that really keeps the party going. So much like we're trying to do here is come by the booth, come find that baby, and share it for next year too, and keep it going. Keep that tradition moving, because there's a baby here that you need to take back to your store right now that can change everything, that'll grow into something beautiful, a big human that's making big differences inside your store. And I don't mean that like a real human. You know what I mean.
But we do. We want to make sure that what we do brew together does turn into a baby that can grow strong, and is fruit-filled. It can continue to make more and more customers. Remember, the best asset that a dealership can do is take care of the people that have already said they want to do business with you.
Yes.
If we can
Absolutely.
talk to them, we can honor them, we can respect them in their timeline, that's what's going to keep them fused to us. That's what's going to keep them coming back to us. And that's what's also going to keep them from entertaining other conversations.
That's right.
That is the thing that dealers are most worried about is, are they going to talk to my competitor?
Right.
Are they going to talk to the person down the street? Are they going to, oh no, there's somebody giving the same car for less and it's just 30 miles down the street. They want to keep that customer engaged to them. And I feel like you all help to reduce a lot of the fear that a dealer has of their people getting processed right.
And it's important to understand the biggest demographic buying today, the millennials, will pay more for a good experience.
Yes.
you just got to give them that good experience. And a large part of that is allowing them to interact in a way they want to. So,
But they won't wait for the info.
No.
That's one thing that they won't do. If there's
Yeah.
anything that you all are getting used to, it's info right away. It's knowledge right now. And this is more and more how the culture is going. Remember, there has been a transformation of the customer fundamentally. And unless we change how we engage with that customer, we're going to be stuck in the Stone Age. If we start to use the technology that can advance us to where the customer has advanced to, you as a customer, me as a customer, all of us as a customer have changed. And the sooner that we can realize that, the sooner that we start to use tools like ActivEngage to make sure that we are communicating with that customer the way that they want to be spoken with. But it's definitely not hiding the cards. It's definitely not hiding the information. The moment they can't get the information that they want, bloop, they're on to the next, finding somebody that can.
Literally just like that. Bloop, bloop. I love it. You know, but on the real, what we're talking about here is some serious stuff. If you're really not trying to find ways to reignite conversations inside your database, you're letting money just burn. You really are. You're letting people in your community down because they need your help. If you train your team right and you have them actively engaged and you have them really knowing what's going on, you shouldn't be worried if they're calling other stores, your customers, because they're going to remember the experience they had with you. And to Carol's point, people will pay more and they'll remember a great experience and they'll come back. I've told my salespeople too many times, hey, they may need to leave to find out that we're the ones really telling the truth, really showing them a solution, because most places won't even offer a solution. So be different, be people who communicate, and be people who know what your customers want.
absolutely.
So true. There are so many interactions that we want to put behind us that the customer has had and has made a decision about the automotive industry. And we have been on a quest to brew with the best with people like you and those like you that are out there that are trying to make awesome things happen inside of your business and for the community. The customers matter. And if we're here to serve them, ultimately we're all going to win. But if there's been those situations where maybe it's put bad taste in everybody's mouth, brew up a fresh cup, do something new, and make sure that you get with Fred and Lou and all of those over here at ActivEngage, and make sure that you do drop those F-bombs. Yes, F-bombs. We got to make sure that we forgive, we focus, and we fly so that we can't keep growing all the time. So, Carol, you got to help us out before we finish off the show. We got to forgive, focus, fly, loud and proud. Help us out.
Right.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus, fly, and keep growing, keep growing. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with us. I'm Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I'm Fred Lenard, subprime hero.
And you've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast, live at NADA 2025 at the New Orleans Convention Center. This has been an amazing event so far, and not even all the people showed up for it. But the ones that did, we got to make sure that we give them some love. So thank you for joining us today. The one,
The only
Carol Marshall. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You
guys.
rock.
We'll see you all later. Keep brewing solutions.
Stay tuned.
We're
Brewing
out.
Solutions.